Welcome, listeners, to today's episode of the Black Business Roundtable. And I am fired up and ready to talk. I am your host, Doug Blackshear, broadcasting to you live from the City of Diversity, Oakland, California. I am excited to have, and I'm going to say that again, I am excited to have my ride or die sister on air, Dr. Ashley Coleman, Doctor of Psychology and our mental health expert. We definitely need her as we try to remain calm with this heat wave causing chaos all around us. Listen up. I want to share with our audience the Affordable Connectivity Program, ACP. This program may provide, depending on your income or if you participate in programs such as EBT, SNAP, Medicare, WIC, SSI, or other programs. Food stamps or Lifeline utility discounts may qualify your household for $10 to $30 off your internet bill or give you free service on your on your current internet and phone provider of your choosing. You might even get an upgrade of your current service for free. For free, folks. So be sure to follow up on this. The process is quick and easy. Visit website affordableconnectivity.gov. Once again, affordableconnectivity.gov or Google ACP, Affordable Connectivity Program. This is a nationwide program, so at least see if you qualify, and how about your college students away from home? Dr. Eric Kelly, the man, the myth, who won a Lifetime Achievement Award from the President of the United States, Joseph Biden. Congratulations again, Dr. Eric Kelly of the Black Business Olympics has asked me, little old me, Doug Blackshear, to return and present his new event, present at his new event. So keep up with our social media for details coming soon. Girl, did I tell you I got a gold medal?
Yes, way to rep the go.
Well, Dr. Ashley, this is for you and the mystery woman behind the scene. If it, an audience, if it wasn't for these ladies, I would have never won a gold medal. So I only own a third of the gold medal. The other third, 2/3 go to the mastermind behind the scenes and my ride or die girl, Dr. Ashley Coleman. Thank you. I can't divide it up, but if you want to use it sometime, call me and I'll send it down. I wear it like the brothers wear the medallion.
Pass it on.
Topics not our topics today include this week's Black Business Roundtable thumbs up goes to Vice Mayor, Councilwoman at Large, Rebecca Kaplan, for all the hard work that she does to look after the Black business community in Oakland, California, and we are officially supporting her for her run for supervisor for the County of Alameda in California. And I personally support her because of all the hard work that she does to make sure that the fair and equity and contracting in the Bay Area and Oakland and Alameda County. Congratulations and thumbs up goes to Rebecca Kaplan, Vice Mayor of Oakland, California, and City Council person at large and candidate running for supervisor for Board of Supervisors in Alameda County. Second thumbs up goes to Mike Hutchison. Mike Hutchison sits on the school board. And the reason why he gets a thumbs up, audience, is because he fights for our young kids to keep those schools open in the areas of Oakland that are Black and brown, that the majority of the school board members have chosen to close and give away to rich billionaires on pennies on the dollar. Shame, 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 shame. Mike Hutchinson, congratulations for the thumbs up. Okay, this week's Black Business Roundtable thumbs down goes to State Senator, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. Did someone say ladybug? And research that and you'll know what I'm talking about. Wanting people to fight in the streets regarding ex-president hashtag Trump going away national secret. Trump giving away national secrets. Once again, thumbs down goes to Lindsey Graham for wanting people to fight in the streets regarding ex-president hashtag Trump giving away national secrets and still free roaming Mar-a-Lago. And you're going to love this hashtag. Trump is going to jail. Once again, hashtag Trump is going to jail. Today's show highlights, I am introducing the mayoral candidate for the city of Alameda here in California, who is running, and with your help, the first Black mayor of Alameda County. I am also bringing back a guest, the ex-mayor of Oakland, and another friend of the show running for Alameda County Board of Supervisors, District 3, and our thumbs up person of the day, and I'm going to hold off on her name because I want to say it real bad. This person is bad. This person is bad, and that is good. Our guests today include Dr. Ashley. I miss saying this so much. Our special guest, my ride or die sister. Our weekly check-in with Dr. Ashley Coleman, tenured and immediate past department chair, assistant professor of psychology at University of the West. Hey! Welcome back, Dr. Ashley.
Thank you, Doug.
I can act crazy now because I know I got my doctor of psychology. She gonna keep me calm. Also, we have Barack D. Obama Shaw. Once again, folks, remember this name, and you can't forget it. Barack D. Obama Shaw, running for Mayor of Alameda, California. Hashtag Honor We Stand. Hashtag Barack Priceless Politics. Hashtag Barack Obama Shaw. Hashtag Barack D. Obama Shaw. Hashtag Barack Obama Shaw. You got a lot of hashtags. Hashtag Barack Obama 4, and that is the numeral 4, mayor. Barack at pricelesspolitics.com, and you can Facebook him also. Our next returning special guest, the Honorable Elihu Harris, Esquire, the 46th mayor of Oakland, California, 1993 to 1999. And a brief sidebar on the Honorable Elihu Harris, Esquire. When he was here, we had inclusion and diversity and equity and contracting, government contracting in the city of Oakland. I wish you were running again. This show would be dedicated to make sure that you were elected. The Honorable Elihu Harris. We're going to welcome him back, folks. And last, and definitely not least, our thumbs up person of the day, Vice Mayor of Oakland, City Council member at large, and candidate running for the Alameda County Board of Supervisors, Rebecca Kaplan. She serves on the County Transportation Commission, the Coliseum Board. And you can visit her on her Instagram at Kaplan _4_Oakland, or email her at large@oaklandcalifornia.gov. We have an all-star lineup today, folks, and we are eager and ready to get started. And Dr. Ashley, you have been gone, but let me tell you something. Girl, I've been all off the reservation in my conversation, and I'm going to say that again. I've been all off the reservation with my conversation. So I think our audience is happy to have you back and get me back under control, because only you can do what you do to me. Thank you. And now for the news of the day. Dr. Ashley, I've been waiting to say this for almost over 2 months now. The news of the day. Dr. Ashley, please take us away. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug, and greetings to our listeners. I am happy to be back. Happy September. Per usual, our news of the day is courtesy of the Equal Justice Initiative. And so on this day in 2010, so more recent news, Alabama prison bans prize winning book Slavery by Another Name. In September 2010, lawyers at the Equal Justice Initiative, a nonprofit civil rights law firm in Montgomery, Alabama, mailed a copy of Slavery by Another Name to client Mark Melvin, then incarcerated at Kilby Correctional Facility. The Pulitzer Prize winning book, written by award winning journalist Douglas Blackman, documents the history of convict leasing in Alabama in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. As this book title suggests, the exploitative and inhumane convict leasing system strongly resembled slavery. Under the pretext of criminal punishment, African Americans arrested on frivolous charges were sold to plantations and farms and mining companies and railroads and forced to work in perilous conditions to pay off debt accumulated from unjust court costs and fines. Kilby prison officials prohibited Mr. Melvin from receiving the book when it arrived in the mail based on a judgment that the book was, quote, too provocative. When Mr. Melvin used the internal grievance process to appeal the book's banning, prison officials defended their decision and insisted the book was properly banned under a rule prohibiting material that, quote, incites violence based on race, religion, sex, creed, or nationality, or disobedience toward law enforcement officials or correctional staff. And this was not the first time Alabama prison officials had limited imprisoned people's access to portrayals of Southern racial history. In the early 2000s, wardens in some Alabama prisons prohibited prisoners from watching a rebroadcast of the Roots miniseries. And in September 2011, EJI lawyers helped Mr. Melvin sue the Alabama Department of Corrections for access to Slavery by Another Name. The civil litigation was settled in February 2013 when state officials finally agreed to allow Mr. Melvin and anyone else in the state's prison system access to the book. And so we want to thank Equal Justice Initiative for always sharing with us, again, challenges, struggles, and ways, especially people of color, have overcome. And to learn more, please visit eji.org and also learn more about the museum that has more rich history.
Well, audience, as you've heard our doctor of psychology so articulate, it is important that we fight and we continue to fight for accessibility in reading, literature, and books for our people, so that we get the real story in America for Black people. Thank you. And once again, I can say this all day, Dr. Ashley. Next up, our weekly check-in with, I want to say my very own, but I've been working on that for 8 weeks while you haven't been here, so I keep saying it. Our weekly check-in with our very own. And before I finish that statement, I've been waiting to say this. Just like you would have a broken leg, just like you'd have a cavity that would make your face swell up, and you can't do anything. When you have a splinter in your brain, when you're having mental issues that is causing depression, suicide thoughts, a lack of motivation, and sometimes health issues, go see a doctor of psychology, as we have on our show now. Now, next up, our weekly check-in with our very own Dr. Ashley Coleman, Doctor of Psychology. Dr. Ashley, please take us away. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. I'm happy to be back with you. It's so good to be here. And also greetings to our listeners. I know it's been some time and I'm so excited to kind of share some reflections on where I've been over the summer and what I'm looking forward to the fall. So first, as even though I'm a clinician, I'm also a whole person. And so everything that I share here, I absolutely apply to myself. So first, August begins with A, but August is for Ashley, really. So it was nice to take a break. I had a wonderful time to just reconnect, recenter, celebrate another year around the sun, and just take in some moments. S for September is for savor. So what I'm looking forward to and what I've been trying to practice in this unpredictable world we're in, heat waves, pandemics, arrivals of new life, departures as well, starting school, returning to the office, gearing up for political, for voting and um, political campaigns is savoring the moment. So being able to also gear up for sports for tonight, about this idea of the stress ball, managing stress. So by savoring and remembering that I can respond to things, I don't have to react. And so Dr. Burke being a colleague of mine who's been on the show several times and shared her expertise about mental health and coping, we co-authored an article in 2021. And there's some points there that I wanted to share that I had to actually go back to, but it's called Coping with COVID, Redefining Productivity in a Pandemic. And for many of us, it almost feels like, in some ways, 2020 feels like it was yesterday, but also feels like eons ago with the way our world has drastically changed. Initially, in the incoming months, the first months in COVID, a lot of us were trying to hold on to the world and how we knew it, trying to recreate our schedules and our routines in the ways we were used to doing things, and kind of struggling with straddling, embracing the now and the future, but also grieving our past. And one of the ways I think many of us did that is trying to figure out, how can we be productive at work from home? How do we restructure the sense of work-life balance and fulfillment? How do we deal with boredom? And so Dr. Burke and I actually wrote an article about how we can redefine productivity while also being compassionate about the world we were living in the context. So I just wanted to highlight some points that, even though we're in the latter stages of the pandemic, or like I like to say, season 3 of it, many of us have coped and adjusted to the new normal, but it's just a reminder on what can we learn and how can we go forward, but with a different pace where we're not increasing our risk for burnout. So redefine is an acronym. The R is recognize you're living in a pandemic. I want to expand that to recognize that you are living in whatever context you're living. If you are experiencing a personal challenge right now, a family member that's sick, an illness, a transition, you yourself are experiencing shifts in your personal life, understand that your best is going to look different right now, that you're trying in a context. So if your performance is different, that doesn't mean you're lazy. That doesn't mean that you don't care, but it's almost like walking 5,000 steps with invisible weights on your ankle. If you could look at the distance and say, well, I just walked 5,000 steps and I usually walk 10,000. Or you could acknowledge the extra weight that you're carrying that may be invisible. So remember, recognize the context. E, extend compassion toward yourself and others. Maybe someone is usually responds to you in a faster pace, and they're taking some time to get back to you. There's a new normal that's happening, so extending compassion, recognizing that there are things you're going through. So again, your performance may look different, your energy levels may look different. So giving grace to yourself and giving grace to others. Some things I like to say to myself is, I'm doing my very best at this moment. As the audience knows, for those who are watching us and will be watching us, I'm a sports person. So not only is my stress ball football, but behind me, I have a painting of Kobe Bryant. And one of the things I like to remind myself is of the late, 5-time NBA champion, is he did not score 81 points every night. It didn't take that type of scoring performance to secure the win. Your best is your best, and you can still win with good enough. D, develop daily and weekly priority list goals. And if you're used to knocking 5 to 10 things off of your to-do list, that's wonderful. But when you're going through a stressful time, trying to limit that to about 3, and you can always add on. What are your 3 top goals for the today? If you must increase it for 5, that's fine. But again, using a compassionate tone and readjusting. E, eliminate distractions. There are apps now that you can download where you can mute your favorite, notifications on social media until the end of your day or until your lunch break. Using do not disturb, blocking certain apps that can kind of take you down a rabbit hole, but eliminating the distractions. And then once things are done, doing those things that you like to do will allow you to prevent feeling guilty for not accomplishing as much as you need to. F is my favorite letter in this acronym: flexibility, flexibility, flexibility. A given in life is change. And so being able to adapt, you can be frustrated when things don't go your way. You can acknowledge feeling sad or disappointed with the outcome of something, but shifting to being solution focused. What can I do now with this moment? How can I approach this situation in a new way? It's really helpful to not get stuck. Incorporating grounding techniques to check in and, re-energize yourself. Grounding techniques can be breathing techniques. It can be going outside and putting your feet on the pavement. I know it's hot right now. That could be walking when it's cooler, putting your feet in the grass. For many of us who are going through this heat wave in California, it was going to the beach and just hearing the sound waves. You can do that literally, or you can cultivate that environment for the busy parents in your bathroom with aromatherapy, anything that just takes you to the here and now. Also savoring tea or your favorite beverage. N, negotiate needs and set boundaries with others. And the other N here is no. Self-preservation. It would be nice if you could, but what do you need to say no to now that you can resume later? Remember, this is how you're preserving yourself and preventing burnout and overextension. So asking for your needs to be met. You may not know that there is a solution you haven't considered if you let people in and allow them to help you and collaborate with you to support yourself. And then finally, E is engage with your support system. And that's something that I've really enjoyed doing over the month of August. Having had an opportunity to see many of my loved ones in person for the first time in a very long time, that's what helps me redefine my why. It's often, my godchildren, seeing the laughter, seeing friends of several years. And I know we're still in a pandemic, but any way you can engage with your support system that helps you look at yourself holistically. So again, S is for September, but it's also for savoring the moments and managing your stress by redefining what productivity means, redefining your needs.
Well, I needed that. Dr. Ashley, it is wonderful having you back. I've had so many people ask me, "Where Dr. Ashley? Where's Dr. Ashley? She didn't quit us. We're gonna go get her. We're gonna send the crew out." So we had the Marines and the Rangers and every other high powered military group coming to find our Dr. Ashley. Audience, it's critical. Take mental health seriously. I've had many times in the last decades, and I'm 59 of my life, that if I had a doctor of psychology, Dr. Ashley Coleman, I probably wouldn't be as crazy as I am today. To that end, Dr. Ashley, welcome back. Welcome
Thank you.
back. We love you. We miss you. Audience, give her a round of applause from wherever you are, anywhere in this city, county, state of California, and in the country. And also, as you know, Dr. Ashley, we air in several countries across the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, I would like to make an introduction to a name that you are all familiar with, Barack D. Obama Shaw, running for the mayor of Alameda, California. I love the name. It has a nice ring to it.
Mhm.
Sure. Barack D. Obama. Girl, I remember those days. And let's be clear. I think Joe Biden is doing a great job too. But I love seeing me on Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. Did you see him? They won that award, or excuse me, not the award, but their portrait was put in the White House earlier this week, and they were honored by the current president and the first lady.
Mhm.
Now, I'm going to briefly say this. Donald Trump, you are to be ashamed of yourself. This should have happened 4 years ago. And I'm going to close it out right there. This should have happened 4 years ago. That is the protocol. And if I'm wrong, and I'm not wrong, but you ought to be shamed. Shame, 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 shame.
Well, in the true presidential, mayoral candidate fashion, we have a couple more minutes before Barack joins us. And so if we can check in with the national political highlights to see what's going on in other states. Because I did check a snippet and saw Stacey Abrams go viral for, what we call a classy clapback. But if you can, Doug, let us know what's going on the national campaigns, and we can then introduce Barack when he arrives.
Well, as you know, audience, my savior, my savior and ride or die sister, to save me again because I totally overlooked. I was so excited about Mr. Obama coming on the show. Now, for the national political highlights, no matter where you live, congratulations to Georgia candidate Marcus Flowers, friend of the show, and candidate running for Congress in Georgia. Senator Raphael Warnock, he's running for his second term in Senate in Georgia. Stacey Abrams, my sister, running for Georgia's governor. And as you know, and if you don't know, the election was stolen from her by the Secretary of State and now current governor. And that's shameful. How can you be in the game and be a referee in the game? You talking about flawed politics. You can't even get more flawed than that. And also, we cannot forget Florida candidate Val Demings for being in the running in their respective races. Val Demings, and I've missed saying this, Dr. Ashley, make little Marco pack his little bags, put his little Kid Marsh tennis shoes on, and scurry on up out of there. I've never said that in a while. That felt good. And locally, our winners are Pamela Price, who in a runoff with 3 other candidates, she received 43% of the vote. Now, on this next election in November, All she needs is 50 plus one.
Mm.
Audience, I humbly urge you to get out there and vote. This county needs a new district attorney, and I have been elected and assigned and appointed on her executive committee to be district attorney of Alameda County and the first African American woman to be the district attorney in Alameda County. So I humbly ask you, PYP, Pamela Price, the price is right. You like that, Dr. Ashley?
I like that a lot. Yes.
I came up with that on my own. The
Okay.
price is right.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of price is right, we have a new sheriff in town. Her name is Yacina Sanchez, who beat out Gregory Ahern. Now, briefly on Gregory Ahern. For over a decade, he has run this county like it was his own empire, making a lot of money while many, many Black people were terrorized under his sheriffhood. So Yacina Sanchez is the new sheriff in town, and let's get behind her and make sure she makes the changes that are needed to represent all people and protect all people. Congratulations, Sheriff Sanchez. Watch out for Barack Obama. When I say that name, I get, and brief story. I met him. I was in Alameda, stopped shopping at Trader Joe's, and I met him out while he was campaigning in front of Trader Joe's, getting signatures and introducing himself. And let's be clear here, audience. The man is on a mission. When I first seen him out there, I didn't know what he was talking about. I saw running for mayor, and I saw Barack Obama. I said, what is this guy? And when I went and talked to him, I was truly smitten with his plans to bring a new plan to the city of Alameda. And he will also be the first Black mayor, both man, woman, or them, they, or theirs, for the city of Alameda. Let's support Barack D. Obama Shaw for the next mayor of Alameda, California. And Alameda, for those of you who don't live in California or in the Bay Area, Alameda is the city right next to Oakland, California. And watch out for Barack Obama. I believe he's going to do some great things down there once he is elected. His hashtag is Barack Priceless Politics. Give the gift of paying it forward and register to vote and help your community this year and into the future. Sending Congress flowers sending Congress flowers for Marcus Flowers, for Raphael Warnock, hashtag Warnock 4, and that's FOR Senate. Warnock 4, FOR Senate. Hashtag One Georgia, and that's ONE Georgia. Stacey Abrams, hashtag Stacey Abrams. Val Demings, my sister, down there running little Marco Rubio with them little Kid Mart tennis shoes out of Florida. Hashtag Val Demings. Instagram Marcus Flowers at Marcus Flowers 4, and that's the numeral 4 Georgia, or his website, marcusflowers4georgia.com. For Raphael Warnock at Raphael Warnock or Warnock 4 Georgia, and that's Warnock FOR Georgia.com. For my sister, Stacey Abrams, running for governor, who was cheated. That's right, cheated out of an election 4 years ago. Let's show those people down in Florida that you may cheat, but we will beat you the next way around because we know how you're playing. And that is Stacey Abrams at Stacey Abrams or her website, StaceyAbrams.com. Val Demings running little kid March shoe wearing Marco Rubio out of town at Val Demings or her website, valdemings.com. And have we got Barack Obama? Has he come backstage yet? Is he?
I think he'll be logging in shortly, but I can go ahead and it's not quite here yet. I'll go ahead and read his bio, and just help our listeners become familiar with him as he logs in. So, Barack D. Obama Shaw is self-employed, studied at Texas Southern University. So, okay, another HBCU graduate. The Bison sees the TSU alum. And he currently resides in Alameda, again, which Doug, you noted, is just outside of Oakland. He's originally from Houston, Texas, but we are fortunate to have him in the Bay Area trying to make a difference. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more again about what this HBCU graduate has to say. I'm already biased, so I already has some points in my book.
Well, let's take it a little further. Last night we had the Alameda County Democratic Central Committee, which I am an alternate delegate on. Okay, I'm going to say this while he's on here. I have been a alternate delegate for soon to be our new district attorney, Pamela Price, for the last 5 years. And I invited Barack D. Obama Shaw as my guest to introduce him to some of the members of the Alameda County Democratic Central Committee. Because let's be clear here, folks. If you are planning to run for a political office, you must be familiar with the political landscape. And moving from there, because I don't want to burn his time, because I can burn up an hour and a half. Barack, they'll tell you I can talk 2 hours, and I'll be going, oh, I forgot everyone else. So let's introduce Mr. Barack Obama again. I would like to make an introduction of Barack D. Obama Shaw, running for mayor of Alameda. I love the name. It has a nice ring to it for sure. So can I literally say I had Barack Obama on our show today?
All right.
Can you read his bio again, please?
Sure, I will definitely read it again. So Barack D. Obama Shaw is self-employed, studied at Texas Southern University. Barack, I gave you the HBCU alum to alum warm welcome, as I'm a Howard Bison. He resides in Alameda, which is just outside of Oakland. He is originally from Houston, Texas, but we are fortunate to have him here in the Bay Area trying to make a difference.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome.
Barack, please share with our audience why you are running for mayor of Alameda and talk a little bit about your experience last night and how I had to fight at the Alameda County Democratic Central Committee to just have them speak out a black man's name. And yes, you saw me fighting to get you and another gentleman who was invited there, get them out on the floor of this mainly Caucasian audience. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm running because I know I can make a difference. And when I was in London, actually, I was in London, England, almost 4.5 years, and I was sharing with the lawyer there what my achievements were, and as I said what my achievements were, I kind of thought, I was like, wait a minute, I'm from America. I can achieve more. I could do more. I could be more. I could have more. I could share more. I could see more. And it just really got to me. I said, if I ever get back in America, I'm going to really go for it. And when I hit the ground running. I could have gotten into politics years ago. But I always thought something bad was going to happen to me because there was always something in the background. If you're a leader, something bad's going to happen to me. And when I got to out of the country, I saw something bad happened anyway. I was living far below my potential in life. And I said, not anymore. I'm going for it. I'm in America and land of opportunity, and I'm going to go for it. And I know I can make a difference. I have my military background. I think the Army is the best training in the world for leadership. And I'm going to take every opportunity to use all of my training to make a difference with everyone. And I measure my success by the success of others. If other people are around me very successful, that's how I figure I am successful, not by my material worth or anything like that. It's about others. That's how I measure, and that's the kind of guy I am. And that's for. Go ahead.
No, we have Honorable Elihu, because I know you're running late today because you're out there campaigning. We have the Honorable Elihu Harris. And do we know if he's backstage or not, Dr. Ashley, or our backstage master producer? Have you heard anything? Well, because when he comes on, he has to get off at 5, and his time is such short. But we want to keep you on the show today, and I want our audience to get a full dose of what you're going to bring to the city of Alameda as the first Black mayor known to plan. So if our producer can let us know when the Honorable Elihu Harris is going to be back, we'd like for you to hang tight. We're going to put you backstage, and that's why I love Zoom. We can put you backstage, but you're still on the show. You don't have to wait and be in the comfort of it.
He's not here yet.
Well, let's keep it rolling.
Yes.
Let's keep it. Dr. Ashley, fire one off for him, please.
Well, I wanted to hear a little bit more about what happened last night. It sounds like we can hear more about that. And then also, Barack, I have to say now, Ashley Coleman is actually a common name, so I use my middle initials to differentiate. But I did some searching, so we also want to make sure we don't let you go today without finding out how we can learn more about you and kind of bypass some of those other millions of pages that may be speaking about another gentleman of the same name. But can I get in on what happened last night?
I'm gonna let Barack talk because they may have to be. All you'll hear is beep 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 beep. You know how they censor the voice. So go ahead, Mr. Obama.
Well, how I see it is every ethnicity has something that they're challenged by in society, and I think sometimes people can think that they're the only one that's going through something, because we're all going through something, and some people are going through a little bit more than others, and that's kind of life. And I think that's it's got to be a situation where when people are making their point about the injustices that they're facing, that they're also inclusive of the injustice that everybody is facing. So, and I think that's kind of where it kind of got a little bit off track, to where if you're only thinking about your situation and not thinking about other situation, and you're probably taking all the time for your situation, it defeats the purpose for really having people on your bandwagon and supporting you. It actually can create opposition for you. So I think that's something more of a seasoned leader would know to do, is to really rally your allies and not just be about yourself and what it is that you want for your community, but be for all communities. So I think that was a missing last night.
Well, let me be clear here, audience. Black people are on the bottom of every list. Not in Oakland, not in the county, not in the state, not in the country, but in the world. And as you remember, Mr. Shaw, I don't call you Obama. I love saying Obama.
That's my name, Obama Shaw.
as you recall, last night, a sister who is a delegate got up to speak. White people, Asian people, Hispanic people, and others, when they spoke, no one cut them off. No one overtalked them. And you witnessed this yourself. We had somebody on Zoom who was not even a member of the Alameda County Democratic Central Committee and cut off a Black woman delegate. Will you explain to our audience how I handled that, sir, please? Thank you.
I think you were very professional. I mean, that's what I got. That you had her back, and that you made sure that there was space for her to communicate what it is that she needed to communicate, and there was a big round of applause at the same time after she spoke her piece. And as I said earlier, to get everyone to see, it's not just about you and your ethnicity or your situation. It's about everybody.
And America, especially Black men, we need to start standing up more for our sisters. When we see our sisters being trampled on, not respected, step up and speak out. And that's what I did last night. And I will continue to do that. And I want to make a shining example of all Black men in America. We are not going to sit back and have people step on our women's feet and tell them that it was a fact. I think I was very clear and forceful when I made sure that I acknowledged the two new Black men who came to participate in the democratic process, who were almost shut down and shut out until at the end. I'll let you explain that.
Well, you basically said, "Hey, wait a minute." I've invited two guests here. They haven't had a chance to say any. They've been patient all evening, and I think we were there a little 30 minutes past the time, and then it was like, "Okay, introduce us," and you had like, "Oh, Barack, stand on up," and then I got ready to say something. And then it's like, "Oh, we're out of time. They're going to talk later." So I was like, "Okay, well, I guess we'll speak another time." And that's kind of how I, took the situation as, it's something to look at in their management of time and what it is that they want to accomplish with the minutes that they have. And that they really need to be rigorous about that. Even though people may get emotional about certain topics, they still need to stay on task so everybody can because when you invite guests, it's polite to have the guests to be able to say at least hello, at least hello, one word. Yeah.
Well, Obama, and you don't mind if I call you Obama, do you?
No, I don't mind at all.
This is what I'd like to say. That's why I can't run for office, because you are very diplomatic in articulating what I did last night. Oh, there we go. We got Mr. Honorable Elihu. Wait a minute, hold on. I can't wait to do this. Honorable Elihu Harris. We have Mr. Barack D. Obama Shaw, who's running for mayor of Alameda on the line. He's going to move to the side for a few minutes because we know you have to get off at 5, but I couldn't wait to introduce you to him. And Mr. Obama, this man, under his leadership in the city of Oakland from 1993 to 1999, had created equity, diversity, and inclusion in the economic development of all businesses under his leadership. When he left, the disparity study clearly showed that when he left, so did equality in government contracting opportunities. And I'm going to drop the mic on that. And Mr. Obama, we're going to come right back to you. But Mr. Honorable Elihu Harris, welcome, sir.
Hi, Mayor Harris. Again, may I please have the privilege to, again, read the bio before we let this conversation start. But the Honorable Elihu Harris, Esquire, earned his Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Cal State University, Hayward, or East Bay. He earned a Master of Public Policy from the University of Berkeley in 1969 and his Juris Doctorate from the University of California, Davis School of Law in 1972. He is also a member of the esteemed fraternity of Kappa Alpha Psi. And Mr. Harris served as the mayor of Oakland from, again, we're talking 1993 to 1999, has an office building named after him, the Elihu M. Harris State Office Building in downtown California as well. Always a pleasure to have you with us.
Come off mute. Honorable Elihu Harris, you're on mute. Can you hear us? I think he's having a little bit of technical. We can't hear you, Honorable Harris. Well, while he adjusts his microphone, audience, let me be clear. Oakland was, and we hope moving forward in the future will continue to be one of the most inclusive cities for all people. Under Mayor Harris's leadership, this city became great. This city became known as the city of diversity. Are you there, Honorable Elihu? Mayor Harris, are you there? Well, I'm going to continue to talk about this gentleman who I know personally. Under Mayor Harris's leadership, he was here when they had the big firestorm back in 1991. He was the mayor who orchestrated with all the utility companies, contractors, made it easy, not only for the people who lost their homes to get back up and going, but the utility companies who at that time, and he has and is a friend of the show, Mr. Robert L. Harris was the director, district manager for PG&E in the Oakland area. And they made it so easy for those people to get back in their homes after a fire, that one of the most devastating fires in this country. Do you recall that, Dr. Ashley?
I do. At the time, I was a student at Shelton's Primary Education Center. So private, predominantly Black school that was actually in Oakland Hills and was closed because it was threatened by the fire. Again, in that area, Broadway Terrace area, thankfully was not burned down. And that school has trained so many people, and including Kamala Harris. But yes, I do remember the fire. I do remember the rebuilding process that happened and how that impacted our wonderful city of Oakland. But Doug, I wanted to tell you, while we're waiting on Mayor Harris to kind of address his technical issues, I've done some research, as the clinician and professor I am. And Barack D. Obama Shaw is musically inclined. And, Oakland is the city of the arts. And I just wanted to ask Barack a little bit more, as I've seen that you've been around our city showcasing your talents. When did, a little bit just about you in the neighborhood, in the arts, and what you foresee, what do you like about the arts? Were you drawn to it? As we know, it saved so many people in the Bay Area, giving us an outlet.
Well, since you brought it up, right? Well, I'm from a family of musicians, so I got it honest. I'm originally from Texas, as you said earlier, and my family was mentioned in the Ray Charles movie, the Cecil Shaw Singers, and Ray Charles's first wife was in my grandfather's singing group, so he sung quartet gospel, a cappella quartet gospel, and my dad was singing with Marilyn McCool, Billy Davis Jr. On Soul Train in 1974. So as a kid, I just wanted to be like them and be like part my father, my grandfather, and Prince to learn how to play all those different instruments. So I know that music can definitely keep you on the right road. It has always kept me on the right road and kept me looking forward to just doing something that being a part of something bigger than yourself. So it's and you may get a couple of phone numbers along the way too. So so it's a wonderful thing. It's doing music, and then of course it is applicable in so many different places. Play for weddings, play for church, recording. You could write your girlfriend a love song. So it's a wonderful thing, and it just builds you up intellectually and on the inside. Just makes you really connected with people.
I would like to say this, and I'm sure our audience here in Oakland, Alameda, California, and all across the United States and several countries. How did you get the name Barack B. Obama? I know the Shaw is your family name, but the Barack B. Obama, I got to hear this story.
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked. Well, I'll say I've always admired Muhammad Ali. He started off as Cassius Clay, then he went to Muhammad Ali, because that was a new purpose in his life. And being the third, Cecil Shaw the third, which was my birth name, always compared to my dad and my grandfather, it started to, over time, it was like, this is a little tough for me to kind of fill this spot, and but I did the best I could, to kind of hold up the name or what have you. And by the time I got to be in the military, Obama was my commander in chief. Because the commander in chief is the president of the United States, especially when you're in the military. So as I was getting ready to get out of the military, people would compare me to him when I would speak different places, call me like young Obama. And I didn't even know who he was in 2007. I'm like, who is that? Okay. And so I looked at what my new purpose in life would be. And my new purpose in life was to serve and be a leader, as well as making a difference. And that new name change, and I did this in 2013, gave me a new context in life. And I tell you, it was the best thing I've ever done. It was just like a born again experience, just so much room and creativity was available for me when I did that. And initially, I went as Barack Denzel. I just kind of left the Obama Shaw to the bank. Mr. Obama Shaw is coming, to cash his check. They knew. And I think one time I had a little incident getting on the airplane. People was like, wait a minute, this is really your name? They said the president's not getting on the plane. This is not Air Force One. So it was a couple of little incidents. And over the years, different companies would be like, they would say, well, they would say a little something about my name and say, well, we're not a political company. And I was like, well, I'm not being political. And so this has kind of like been my little secret for the past 9 years. And now that I'm in politics, hey, I am political.
Well, let me ask you something, and this is because in November we're going to have a tribute to our military people on Veterans Day.
Yes.
We would love to have you come on, and um, Mayor Harris, Mayor Harris, did you get your technical? Okay, we would love to have you come on, and even now, can you briefly describe to us your military background and experience so our audience can, and let me be clear here, audience, Alameda is a military town. Alameda is a military town, and you have a military retired veteran running to continue to save his country, starting with the city he lives in. Can you tell us a little bit about your military background? Thank you, sir.
Well, a little bit about my military background is, I enlisted at I was an Army reservist, enlisted in the reserves in 2008, and I was actually 38 years old, and that normally doesn't happen. And but I was in Bush had raised the limit when you can come in. And I thought it was going to be like Officer and a Gentleman or something like that, with Lou Gossett, you fighting the drill sergeant, you pushing my head in the water and all of that stuff. And I was going to have to fight this guy. I was like, oh boy. But it was nothing like that. I went to Fort Sill in Oklahoma, and it was a pretty tough experience, to say the least, but it's part of it to get you used to, just being in the theater of war and ready for anything. Take your cell phones, and then you have to be quiet. You hardly say anything for like 2 weeks, it seems like, and they weren't interested in any of your background, and you went by your last name. And it was a way to instill that discipline and build a morale, patriotism, and a level of respect that I never had before. Before the military, a man could come in a room, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But now it's like someone comes in a room, you recognize their rank and the things that they've been doing in life, and you stand to attention. Or you may salute them. And now I have that respect for everybody. I almost stand at attention for almost everybody, because I want to respect people. When you sworn into the military, you give up your rights for the rights of other people. You give up all of your rights for the rights of other people, because you're a soldier, and you give your word to protect all Americans from enemies, foreign and domestic. And it's a privilege to have that, that opportunity, and to be listened to that way. And my name, kind of circling back a little bit, it became like my new uniform. You respected your uniform. As a soldier, you wouldn't, even if you were out of a job or something, you wouldn't put your uniform on and then go ask people for money and say, I'm in the service. You don't do that. You respect that uniform, and you have a level of honor that's beyond money, beyond materialistic things. It's from the heart and from the soul. And something you die for, and I don't know if I'm expressing it as clearly but it's from the heart. And it also gave me a connection with the police officers, because a lot of police officers come from the military. I didn't know that. I was connected to the Marines. They showed me how to properly shoot the M16, which I didn't know how to do. But it just really got me connected to everybody. And we all had on the green, and we just, we were just connected. We were all under that banner of green. And so we were just all connected.
Well, Doug, you asked the most pressing questions. I wanted to know too behind Barack, what was behind your name. And what's clear to me is the importance of legacy. And we were really attempting today to have that moment of the former mayor of Oakland and the mayor and you being the mayoral candidate. And unfortunately, due to technical issues, it looks like that's not going to happen today. But one thing we do a great job of the show is reconnections. And so this won't be the only time. So we're hoping that we can do that in the future. What a rich conversation that would be.
Yeah.
Well, I'd also like to say, just seeing the Honorable Mayor Harris is enriching in itself. And can you hear us, Mayor Harris? Still technical difficulties. We're going to be shortly having Vice Mayor Rebecca Kaplan coming on. But let me be clear here, audience, and I think that Obama can testify to this. If you are running for a political office in Oakland, Alameda, the county of Alameda, state of California, or as Marcus Flowers says, across the United States in Georgia, I am here to fight with you and for you. I put this on the table for you, Mr. Obama D. Shaw, Mr. Barack D. Obama Shaw.
Yeah.
Come back next week, or excuse me, next month to the Alameda County Democratic Central Committee, because it's critical that you get involved in the Alameda County Democratic Central Committee, because you need to get those kind of endorsements if you want to win, because they put you on a mailer that goes out to thousands, tens of thousands of people. So I'm going to make sure that I fight harder than I fought last night to get your name out there in front of those people so that they know who you are and what you stand for. So thank you for showing up last night. Has our guest, Vice Mayor Kaplan, has she come in yet? If you know, Dr. Ashley? No. Okay.
No, not yet. No, we have an opportunity for just a couple more questions for Mr. Shaw.
Well, please, Dr. Ashley, do you have, I keep a ton of questions. Hold on, I can pull my list out over here.
Well, I do too and did my research, but I'm just curious. You've talked about your pathway in the military and of service. Can you give us a teaser of what your vision is for Alameda?
Great question. Well, my vision for Alameda is about having a community with an identity. You go to Las Vegas, you know why you go to Las Vegas. Everybody's, why are you going? They don't have to ask why you're going to Las Vegas. Why are you going to Walt Disney? You know why you're going to Walt Disney. You're having a good old family fun. But okay, why are you going to Alameda? Nobody has an answer. We have a beach. Well, there's plenty of beaches in the state of California. And this is not coming up number one, number two. So we have to have something else. So just like a person, once a person is empowered in life, when that person has a purpose, what about a city with a purpose? A city where everybody knows what the purpose is. And once everyone knows what the purpose is, then we can market that purpose and bring currency revenue coming in, and where everyone could start winning because we all know what we exist for. So that's gonna be number one, is start really creating that, and also start uniting with the local newspapers to where there's a newspaper. We get the newspaper once a week, but I would like to get the newspaper every day to where it's packed with things that people are doing, that it's actually representing the lives of the 80,000 people that live here, so people can actually see that this is now the place to be for our identity, our fingerprint in society.
Well, I have to share this. So Howard University has a shirt that says "My money and my daughter attend Howard University," and so for Alameda, I have an 11-year-old goddaughter who loves Sushi House restaurant in Alameda, and so the shirt, what the invisible tagline on the shirt, on my shirt, is "My money and my goddaughter eat at Sushi House in Alameda." But this is exciting to know, as a Bay Area resident, just revitalizing Alameda, and there has been a gap after. I'm about to age myself again, after Blockbuster left and different stores left, and the beach. What is just a place of being and welcoming, and so they're great restaurants. So that's exciting. I want to hear more about what your platform is. And so for those of us who want to keep in contact with you and follow your platform, become a supporter, and see where you are going to be playing the Star Spangled Banner, because again, I saw those instruments you were playing throughout the city. How can we follow you?
Well, at pricelesspolitics.com.
Okay.
Is my website, and Barack at pricelesspolitics.com is my email, and they, anyone could contact me. I'd love to see how I could serve and make a difference.
Well, let's be clear here, audience. First off, Dr. Ashley, I am so glad to have you back. We are like the what is that, Rwanda? I'm the Black Panther, and what's the super lady on there? I mean, when I drop the ball, and audience, you can't even tell when I drop the ball because Dr. Ashley never lets it hit the ground. She just grabs it and keeps running to the goal line. That's why we're so successful.
That's right.
Mr. Shaw, let me be clear here. I have asked people who I have associated with on several campaigns to start looking into giving you consulting and reaching out. In addition to that, I have contacts at high schools where I'm tired of seeing corporate money win campaign. So I want to put this on the air for you today. I have connections with high school kids for a few coins will help you put flyers on doors, do your IT work. I offer that to you. At the last Alameda County Democratic Central Committee picnic, I recruited all the kids, and it was 8 young people who came there and helped make that picnic very successful. I offer that to you because in the city of Oakland, in the county of Alameda, and in the state of California, we have too many bought politicians, and the politicians we do have do not service Black and brown people and Black women of color, whether it be in emergency rent assistance programs for Alameda County, whether it be in PPE money.
I don't know if you can hear me. I can't hear anything.
Oh my God, we got him here.
I don't know whether or not you're talking to me or not.
Yes.
The
I don't
honorable.
know what the problem is, but nevertheless,
we have the honorable, and I would like to welcome back. And Barack, do you mind if I introduce this well-known man, not just in Oakland and Alameda
whatever
County?
reason I can't hear. Maybe I need to go and.
Oh, he can't hear us, but we can hear him now.
Came in on YouTube, but I can't seem to be able to hear it.
But that's okay. Just seeing your face, sir, is.
See that I'm in the studio, but that's the end of it.
Hold on, I'm going to give him a call.
Well, maybe next time we'll try this again. I apologize to everyone. I don't know exactly what the problem is. But anyway, Doug, thank you very much for trying to work this out. We'll look for another opportunity. Thank you guys so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello?
Well, sir, and that's why we're so successful. We're like the Marines. We get you in. You're on the show, and you can hear us, and we can hear you.
I can't hear you. I don't know what the problem is.
We can see you and we can hear you on the show, sir.
Is there anything that I'm supposed to be doing other than entering the studio?
Well, we had a few questions for you. We're running a little
No,
bit
I understand.
late.
No, I understand that. Okay, look, let's do that then. Let's go ahead and talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear what'd you say?
I said I can talk, but I couldn't hear. I hear you now. Thank you for calling me because I couldn't hear it on the air.
Yeah.
I'm seeing everything, but I can't hear anything.
Well, let me be clear here, Honorable Mayor Elihu Harris. I got your back wherever you are. If you
I appreciate that. It
call
means a
me
lot.
and I'll come get you. I will come get you.
I'm glad you got my back. Some people trying to stab me in the back.
I would like to introduce this man here, Barack D. Obama Shaw, and he is running for the first Black mayor of Alameda. And I was telling him all the great things that you have done in Oakland when you were here, how we had inclusion, equity when they had the big firestorm in the Oakland Hills, how you and Mr. Robert L. Harris put them people back in the home. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But what encouraging words. And I know we're running a little bit behind, and we're going to have you back on the show, sir, because I've had people saying it's good. We can't hear him, but it's good to see him. What encouraging words can you offer this gentleman here who's running for the mayor of Alameda County? Or excuse me, Alameda, the city of Alameda.
Right, I understand. I used to live in Alameda, so I appreciate that. Look, Alameda is a changing community. When I ran for the legislature in 1978, Alameda was 85% white. I lost 85% of the vote. It is much more diverse, much more inclusive, and much more open to new ideas and new individuals. So he ought to be encouraged. The politics of Alameda have evolved, and hopefully he can bring his own wisdom, his policies, and his plan for the future of Alameda to the people who live there and work there, and people who in fact play there. Alameda is a great city. It has wonderful opportunities. The South Shore Beach is something that everybody enjoys. So I hope that he'll understand that it's an asset, not just for the residents of Alameda, but for everyone who lives in the Bay Area who wants to come and enjoy a beautiful island with a lot to offer.
Can you give him some pointers on how to campaign success? Because I know some of the tactics that you use, and they were very successful because I had one of them chicken dinners. But
hey, well, look, that got me in trouble. Don't do chicken dinners.
Hey, but you still won.
Well, no, I didn't. I won the primary, but I lost the general election. The only time I ever lost a campaign. But let me just say this, though. The one thing I would tell you is one of the most successful politicians in Alameda went door to door. He knocked on every door. He went up and down Otis Avenue. He walked on Grand Avenue. He walked on Webster. He walked on Park Boulevard. Alameda can be walked. 60 days is, not a lot of time, and it takes, basically all day. But when people have a chance to see you, to know that you're real, that your plans and your platforms really speak to their concerns and their interests, that's the kind of thing that can persuade voters that even though you're young, you have the capacity, the imagination, and the commitment to making Alameda all that it can be. And I suggest you try to go to as many people as you can, house parties, anything to let them see you, understand your sincerity and your ability. And that's the only way that anyone can really understand and appreciate what you're bringing to the game.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to get on that. Awesome.
Do you have any questions that you would like to ask a successful politician as the Honorable Elihu Harris?
I would like to know, on like the tough days, what do you do to keep yourself strong?
I think sometimes you have to take a mental health break. Sometimes you have to get away. It's a 24-hour, 7-day a week job, but you have to sometimes take a break. Sometimes it's maybe just traveling down the coast, and maybe simply taking a minute to take a breather, to relax your mind, to clear your thoughts. But you really have to take some me time, not a lot, but every now and again, you have to understand that a mental break, a mental health break can be very important to your ability to focus and to concentrate on the various challenges that face the city that you'll be governing. The real idea is show that you have an interest, that you're open to other people's ideas, that you'll make good decisions, and you'll do it in the public interest. Those are the things that I think help to give you, sustain you, that you have a responsibility, but also an opportunity to serve. That opportunity to serve is really the exciting part of being in office. You can get something done. You have a seat at the table. And in the words of Freddie Haynes, either at the table or on the menu. So be at the table, make those decisions, and just like they said in Hamilton, hey, you got to make your shot. You get your shot, take it.
And excuse me all, another very successful and a very, very great politician, in my opinion, what counts on this show, in addition to Dr. Ashley.
Well, thank you very much. I'm sorry I wasn't able to hear and be able to be a little bit more vocal, but I can tell you that I'm glad that people have an opportunity to think about what's going on. This is a very pivotal year. We really need to think about Black economics, how we're going to deal with the issues of reparations, but more importantly, how we're going to consolidate our resources and put together some institutional wealth rather than just individual survival.
Well, and you've heard it here on the Black Business Roundtable on blackusa.news. Mr. Shaw, Barack D. Obama Shaw, and the Honorable Mayor Elihu Harris. It has been a true honor having you both on the show today. We're going to close you out by saying we would love to have you both back. And once again, Mayor Harris, as you see, I came and got you like the Marines. I
appreciate it. And more importantly, I appreciate the fact that you are sharing information, because information is the beginning of understanding, and understanding is the only thing that's going to save us. So thank you for providing information and opportunity for us to communicate with each other.
Thank you both. And we look forward to having you back on the show.
All right, tell Dr. Ashley I appreciate her as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Harris.
And before you go, Mr. Shaw, before you go, I want to introduce and I know I've known this lady for over 10 years, or I know this person over 10 years, and let me be clear here, audience. They have represented the county and let's start off with the city of Oakland, and I believe it was AC Transit first. Then, I know who you are. I know who you are.
You know some things.
And now she was they were elected to the City of Oakland City Council at large. Now they are going on to be elected as the Alameda County Board of Supervisors. And I have personally endorsed her. I saw you on Sunday at the parade. I was in the white truck that had the purple on it. And I believe those are your, yes.
You sure were.
Because I am here, audience, I am here to represent the people like Vice Mayor, City Council Member at Large, Rebecca Kaplan. We need people like that in political positions who will represent all the people. And you are honored today, Vice Mayor, for helping out a small business get a check that the Alameda County Board of Supervisors was holding on. And that's how you got thumbs up this week on this show. Can you introduce yourself with Mr. Barack D? And you'll never forget that name because he's running for mayor, but the name. Can you introduce yourself and give him some pointers before we close him out and get you on this show? Thank you for being understanding and patient while we worked out the technical difficulty with the famous Mayor Elihu Harris. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And first, I want to give thanks and appreciation to Mayor Elihu Harris, who is one of my friends and mentors. And it's a pleasure to get to see him and hear him on your show as well. Our Mayor of Oakland, as well as state legislator, as well as leader in the community. So thank you, Mayor Harris, for your friendship and support and mentorship and role modeling of leadership that really cares about the community and works to bring about tangible results. And one of the things that I have been fighting for is to make sure that we are bringing actual resources to serve community needs, and that, I'm now Oakland Vice Mayor. Before that, I was on the board of AC Transit, Prior to that, I worked as a state legislative aide and as an attorney in Oakland. And, I see how much goes on in terms of disparities in our community, which is something we fought very hard for, remedying and identifying and admitting the racial disparities and the gender disparities in city contracting. But to make sure that when we fight for progress, that when we fight for justice, that it isn't just a theoretical approach, it is a practical approach, that we need to bring not only respectful action, which is important. It's important to be respectful, but we also need to bring actual resources. And so looking at how public land has historically been used in a way that is primarily about benefiting rich white out-of-town developers and not serving local community, not serving African-American community, and working to change that, to make sure that we're not only fighting for greater justice in our attitudes, but also in terms of tangible material results in the community. And so, now I'm running for Alameda County Supervisor on the November ballot. I'm incredibly honored to come in a strong first place in the June primary, which means I'm now in a November runoff. The Alameda County Board of Supervisors oversees public health, the public hospital system, social services, funding for core community needs, as well as, it gives a lot of money to incarceration and needs to be giving more to community mental health and needs to be looking at the amount of land the county owns and controls in terms of making sure it's used equitably to benefit community. And so I'm also asking for people's support in my campaign for county supervisor so that we can make sure that those resources are harnessed in a way that is both just but also effective in terms of serving community needs. And of course, I couldn't close my intro without saying it's my birthday next week. I'm having a birthday party on Wednesday, September 14th at the Port Bar on Broadway in Oakland, outside. And so I wanted to invite folks to join us. They can find the information at supervisorkaplan.org. There's a page called Birthday. So come celebrate my birthday as well. And thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, we're going to close out Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, it's been wonderful. We already have you scheduled back several times because we want you, progressive leaders, to be leading our political process here in Oakland, Alameda County, such that we can get fairness and equity for all people. So we're going to let you go, and we're going to do a formal introduction to our special guest and friend of the show. And the show has endorsed you, and I personally have endorsed you and will help you win this race. Thank you, Mr. Shaw. We look forward for you in the upcoming weeks. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Pleasure to be here. Bye-bye.
Now, let's welcome back Vice Mayor, City Council Person at Large, Rebecca Kaplan, who is running for the Alameda County Supervisor District number 3 in November 2022 election, and friend of the show. Dr. Ashley, can you read this person's magnificent bio? And once again, audience, I want to be clear here. If any of you know me, I am a Marine, I am a Ranger, I am a staunch fighter for equity and inclusion on government contracts that has been excluded, has been absent for the last 2 decades, as 2 disparity studies have shown. Out of $500 million in Oakland, California on government contract, Black and Black woman-owned businesses only get 0.32%. So that's not even crumbs. You'd have to lick the pan to say what was in the pan. So on that note, can you read her bio, please? Thank you, Dr. Ashley.
Absolutely, and welcome back, Vice Mayor. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Rebecca Kaplan has represented the entire city of Oakland as its council member at large since 2009. Rebecca was unanimously appointed by her colleagues to represent the city as Oakland's vice mayor. As the representative to Oakland, Kaplan has pushed for transparency and accountability in all levels of service, including the city's contracting policies. Kaplan championed the City of Oakland's 2017 Disparity Report and its 2020 release, which showed a lack of support for African American Black businesses. Kaplan has also consistently advocated to rectify that disparity by supporting grants and contracts to Oakland Black businesses, including the African American Sport and Entertainment Group's proposal to revitalize the Oakland Coliseum. Again, welcome back to the show, Vice Mayor. So happy to have you back, and happy birthday in advance from Los Angeles.
Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be with you again.
Well, let me be clear here, audience. I will be in person supporting this person at her birthday party next week, and I'm catching Uber there because I plan to have a cocktail or two.
All right. Thank you so much. And again, that's next Wednesday, the 14th at 5:30 p.m. at the Port Bar on Broadway in Oakland, outside on the patio. And you can learn more about that and everything else at supervisorkaplan.org. And click birthday for the birthday party info.
And bring your checkbook. Donations will be campaign contributions are accepted.
This is
Let
true.
me put a plug in for you.
Yes, thank you. Well,
First,
exactly.
Vice Mayor Rebecca Kaplan, the Black Business Roundtable would like to say thank you for all you do. For all you do in our city of Oakland, California. We appreciate you. These are many challenges. There are many challenges affecting our city, including Lake Merritt cleanup to the sea life massive die-off. Cleanup is still happening with the lake version of an ice rink Zamboni machine. I've never heard of that, but I'm sure you're going to clear that up for me. That is out there scooping up algae, etc., and it's killing fish and is not healthy for humans. What is the city trying to do to avoid this happening due to the heat wave? Thank you.
Absolutely. So it is really important to acknowledge the magnitude of what is going on. And it is being seen dramatically at Lake Merritt because that is a very visible location where a lot of us like to hang out. But it's also happening in many other places as well. And this is a broad environmental crisis related phenomenon in which we are seeing more algae blooming in lakes and waterways. And that then is causing the die-off of the fish. And it's very tragically, very impactful in Lake Merritt, but it is also happening in many other places. And so we need to look systemically at reducing the types of runoff and pollution and impacts that increase the algae blooms. And they can be increased by multiple factors. So the increased heat makes all of this worse. The global warming and climate change is significant. And I think we need to acknowledge that it has been decades that people in power have known that this level of environmental destruction was happening and chose to do nothing about it because wealthy interests were profiting from the environmental destruction. And so we have a connection also between environmental destruction and environmental racism, that pollution has been disproportionately targeted in Black communities and to some extent also in Latino communities and low-income communities, from places from Richmond to Louisiana and beyond, where the worst toxins are primarily in Black neighborhoods. And so that has then allowed those in power to get away with it in a way that would have been less easy if more privileged people felt that it impacted them. And the problem is when you let anyone be undermined, you let everyone be undermined. And now the pollution has gotten worse and worse and worse. And now even the more privileged are getting more impacted as it gets worse and worse. But let's be clear, part of why these situations have been allowed to persist is because of environmental racism. And so we need to look at remedies to global warming, including not burning fossil fuels. That's part of why we've been fighting to get away from fossil fuels and toward clean, green energy and walkable neighborhoods, and to make sure that we aren't going worse into further fossil fuel devastation. But it also means that we need to look at the runoff, the pollution the things that are getting into the waterways that are worsening these blooms and worsening our water safety and water quality. And so we did fight for funding in a ballot measure in Oakland last year that will allow us to invest in helping to clean up our waterways and prevent more toxins and pollutants from getting into them. And so those are just some of the things we need to do, but we need to do it region-wide, and we need to collaborate throughout the Bay Area because we share a watershed to help fix what's getting into our waterways.
Before you ask the next question, Dr. Ashley, I'd like to say this. Audience, after that answer, you have me at hello. That is why this person is the best person to fill in the Honorable Wilma Chan, who is not here any longer, and we all loved and appreciate it. But we must get out and vote. I will continue to support you because you support the people. And before I turn it back over to Dr. Ashley, corporate greed has got to get out of politics, not just here in Oakland, not in Alameda County in the state, but all across this nation. Because as was so well articulated by this incredible person, a few get rich while the rest of us are starving and scraping up. Anyway, I'm trying. I don't want them to start going beep 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 beep. So I'm gonna be quiet and let Dr. Ashley take over. But I support you. I want my audience to know that we support to the fullest extent of the political law, Vice Mayor and Councilperson at large, Rebecca Kaplan. Dr. Ashley, please take it away.
No, thank you. Well said, Doug. And Vice Mayor, before I ask my question, I too was reflecting as you were answering the question on your passion for environmental justice. And the last time you were on the show, how we were talking about, again, the consequences in, Deep East Oakland and other neighborhoods that have been impacted by smog and different roadways. And so, again, I appreciate you shedding light on the algae and the situation. Now, I get to ask you a little bit more about reproductive justice. But before I do that, a little birdie told me that a congratulations is in order to you and your wife on the arrival. Is it on your baby girl and your daughter?
Yes, that's right. We welcome our amazing baby girl. Leela Devika is amazing and is here and is beautiful and is ready to join the fight for a healthier future.
Wonderful, wonderful. Congratulations. And so kind of segueing into this idea again of you recently had a rally on reproductive rights and the Yes on Prop 1 campaign for reproductive freedom. Can you share what Oakland is doing to protect women's reproductive choices?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. No, and these rights are under attack from the Supreme Court, and then we even have right-wing groups like the Proud Boys taking action here in Alameda County. And so we face an incredible right-wing action going on that is trying to wipe out numerous rights. They fought to put people on the Supreme Court for the specific purpose of eliminating voting rights, of eliminating reproductive freedom, of eliminating racial justice, and eliminating LGBT rights. And so they are trying to turn back the clock. And so what is going on in terms of Prop 1 is that I am authoring a council resolution to support California Prop 1, which is a constitutional amendment on the November ballot, which would guarantee and protect reproductive freedom in California. And by the way, this protects not only the right to abortion, it protects the right to birth control, and it protects the right not to use birth control. And, so often when we talk about what we mean by reproductive choice or reproductive freedom, people think it only goes one way. People think, we're only talking about someone who's pregnant and wants an abortion and might have to fight to get one or can't get one now in certain places. And that is absolutely an essential part of reproductive freedom and is part of what I am committed to fighting for and have fought for throughout my life. And let's not forget, it also includes the right to use contraception, and it includes the right not to use contraception. And the abuses we have seen in the history of America include not only people who needed contraception being not allowed to have it, it also includes people being forced to have contraception when they didn't want to. And that's mostly been done to women of color, to a lot of Native American women that was done, to a lot of Black women that was done. And so when we say we're fighting for reproductive freedom, that means the right to have a child, the right not to have a child, the right to use contraception, the right not to use contraception. And, you know, these right wingers who say they're pro-family, they're not pro my family. And, you know, and they're not pro a lot of families. And so let's make sure that we are protecting everyone's right, to those who are trying to have kids and you know, need support in that, to have that support, for those who don't want to have a kid to have that respected. And so that's what I mean. And that's what we mean in this resolution that we're bringing September 20th at the Oakland City Council to defend reproductive freedom and enshrine that in law in California.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Before Doug, I just want to say, I just appreciate your, again, inclusive definition and inviting all parties to the table. There tend to be snippets or some abbreviations of what's meant by reproductive justice. And so thank you for that.
Before I get to the next question, I want to compliment you personally. There's an organization called the African American Sports and Entertainment Group with my best friend, one of my best friends, Ray Bobbitt. Ray Bobbitt speaks very highly of you because you're one of the few people on the city council. And this audience, this is not coming from Rebecca. This is coming from Doug Blackshear. We got a mayor who has not mentioned one time she will go to Washington, D.C. to visit Kamala Harris, Vice President of the United States, to get $500 million to build a billionaire, white billionaire, a $1 billion Disneyland park. But she won't even lift her hand, won't even mention the African American Sports and Entertainment Group. And that's the type of politician that we do not need representing this diverse community here in Oakland and Alameda County. And that's coming from me, everyone. That's not coming from Dr. Ashley, and that's not coming from Rebecca, because I have to give disclosures because I am not scared. And I don't say scared, I'm not scared. Okay, moving on. Thank you. On your recent August 29th Instagram post, you shared that Little Saigon and the faith leaders gathered in Clinton Park for a vigil after a string of violence against the AAPI, that's Asian American Pacific Islanders community. What is Oakland doing to address the serious issue of violence against AAPI community, and how can our audience help? Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And one of the things that I think is so important is that we respond with unity and not with divisiveness. And that there are those who profit from pitting groups against each other. And there are those who are trying to turn this into a Black versus Asian thing. And there were those who tried to turn the LA uprising into a Black versus Asian thing. And there were, you know, there have been those who have tried to create these types of divisions for many, many years. And so I think it is essential to say that we must speak out in unity and reject this violence and reject all hate crimes, including against the AAPI community, including against the Black community, including against the LGBT community, and not let this be an opportunity to pit one oppression against another. And that we are seeing in America a rise of white supremacy, and we are seeing a rise in illegal gun dealing. And that has caused increased danger for the AAPI community as well as for other communities. And so that is part of why I'm honored to stand in solidarity with the community in Little Saigon, and to make sure that we do so in a way that is about building that unity to respond. And that includes cracking down on the flow of guns. There were people profiting by selling death into our community. There are no gun manufacturers in Oakland. there are no gun stores in Oakland. People are bringing guns that they go to places with looser laws and get guns and bring them here. And people are getting rich while other people are getting killed. And so we need to make sure that we respond with solidarity, that we denounce the violence, that we fight for, as I did, the restoration of the foot patrols, so that people have a real relationship, both with the community safety ambassadors and with the local beat officers, and that there is a unifying presence, and that we crack down on and shut down these floods of illegal guns that are putting everyone at greater risk.
And before you ask the last question, I'd like to say this: America, California, Alameda County, Oakland. The white racist powers to be, the only way they can win is divide us, then conquer us. So thank you for pointing that out, Vice Mayor of Oakland and Councilperson at Large, and soon to be our next District 3 Alameda County Board of Supervisor elected official. Dr. Ashley, please.
Well, I'm excited because I get to ask the questions about celebration. And here's another one. So this past weekend was the Oakland Pride Parade. And first question is, Vice Mayor, can you share what the day was like for our LGBT community in the city of Oakland?
Well, thank you so much. Well, first I want to say it was incredibly beautiful and very uplifting and very diverse. People of all backgrounds and races and ages, and people with kids as well as people not with kids, right? And a really beautiful and uplifting and warm crowd. And so I think that is really important to honor and uplift and celebrate, and is something that Oakland particularly brings to this area. And the LGBT community in Oakland is large and diverse and growing, and very excited to be getting together and having this kind of welcoming environment. So I think that is incredibly important. And I also, think we need to acknowledge that, progress isn't always forward, and it doesn't happen by itself. And I think it might have been tempting to think that the fight for LGBT rights had been completed when there was a certain court ruling recently. And let's be clear, the current Supreme Court justices have made very clear that they have no commitment whatsoever to any rights existing that didn't exist 200 years ago. And so, they've made very clear that these rights are being threatened at the Supreme Court. But even locally, we had the right-wing Proud Boys come into our county, come into Alameda County, and assault an LGBT event at the San Lorenzo Library. Right here in Alameda County Supervisor District 3 in this year, there was an anti-transgender attack on people by the right-wing white supremacist Proud Boys. And so I think that, it's really uplifting to have that kind of community solidarity. And it is also happening in an environment of a resurgence of hate crimes, whether it's from Supreme Court justices or right-wing hate groups.
Wow, that is very sobering truth. And I echo Doug's sentiments and appreciating your candor, so that we can get involved in knowing exactly where the threats and opportunities are. And so the second part of this question is, your endorsement list continues to grow. So that includes the Alameda Democratic Party, the California Nurses Association, ACCE Action, Moms Demand Action, as you are a gun safe candidate. Are there any other campaign updates that you would like to share with our audience? We know that you've made the plug for the birthday bash. Again, we want to invite our audience to visit Vice Mayor's website with a special page on birthday, but any other campaign updates or anything else that you want to share with our audience?
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for having me. And yes, so our website is supervisorkaplan.org. We also are having a campaign mobilization this Saturday, September 10th in San Leandro. Also go to supervisorkaplan.org and click event, or maybe you'll get that link here, supervisorkaplan.org/event, where you can find that. And then each week our latest outreach event gets updated on that same page, so you can get the latest there. But this Saturday, September 10th, we will be doing voter outreach mobilization in San Leandro. Come join us in the park. We will have food, we will have good energy, we will have unity, and we will go out and reach out to voters and make sure they know about this important campaign. And of course, next Wednesday, the 14th, my birthday party. Please do join us at the Port Bar on Broadway by 20th in Oakland. And that information is also on the website. And also, you can just tell your friends about this campaign. This seat covers a third of Oakland, Alameda, San Leandro, San Lorenzo. And you can also go to our website to sign up to get a lawn sign or make phone calls or make a donation. So there's a lot of different ways that people can get involved, whether it's giving time or money or putting up a sign or telling your friends so that we make sure that we bring this home in November. And thank you so much for having me. And by the way, thank you for naming some of our amazing new endorsers. I have to also give a shout out to another new endorser that came on, BWAPA, Black Women Organized for Political Action, has endorsed our campaign. Thank you very much. And as well as the Working Families Party has also joined in support. So it's been a great month of support, and we're excited to bring this home.
Well, as we close this out, you are welcome back. We want to make sure you get on a couple more times before the election. And let's be clear here, audience. This is the type of person who is selfless in her commitment in holding her elected office. She's not a corporate crony. She's a constituent, hardworking representative. Thank you. God bless. We'll talk to you soon. I'll see you next week. And thank you for advocating for that person. And you know what I'm talking about, to get that resolved. You truly fight for people who normally don't get a voice with our political leaders. Thank you again. We're honored to have you on the show today. Dr. Ashley, you want to just start closing it out, because we don't want to tick off our producer, because we got 9 minutes and you read faster than me. So
absolutely. Wow, what a show, right? Right, Doug.
We put so much into this short time. I mean, 2 hours. We may have to get another hour in.
I'm telling you. Janani Ramachandran Esquire, friend of the show, is running for District 4 in Oakland. Please visit her website for more information on her campaign. That's JananiFOROakland.com. Additionally, visit her Instagram page. Her handle is @Janani4, the number 4, Oakland. And again, Janani shared what her campaign, how strong it's going, and she's been recently endorsed by the John George Democratic Club, MGO Democratic Club, and Wellstone Democratic Club. And I've checked out her social media. She is making ground in the community. Please check out her website again for opportunities on how to support her campaign. Also, visit our online friends of the show. Their Instagram handle is @millennial.democrats or #millennialdemocrats. And they're very vocal and calling out politics and politicians. We're really hoping to make a connection with them later in the fall to try to get them on the show. As well as our favorite law school student delivers his experience from a Black man's perspective. His Instagram handle is @TheMaskedLawStudent. Or there's also a hashtag #TheMaskedLawStudent available on his YouTube channel. Thank you, Mr. Donnie Glover of BlackUSA.News for this wonderful platform. We want to invite our listeners to check out our sister shows. That includes Chap and Friends on Mondays, Party Marty Let's Talk on Tuesdays. There's also Black USA Crypto News with Kamal Hubbard on Fridays. And there's been some interesting news about the dollar and cryptocurrency. So please check out that show for more information. On Saturdays, there's the Blackout Live from New York with Tajmir. And Sundays, there's 60 Minutes in Black USA with Michael Haney. Want to invite our listeners to join the BBRT advertising family or to be a possible guest on the show. Please contact us via our email address, which is bbrt2021@hotmail.com. In your email, please enclose your company name, address, website, and contact information so that you can be properly vetted. Also, we have more shows, and it seems like it's being added, just a star-studded lineup of shows hosted by Mr. Donnie Glover. There's BlackUSA.News, Morning Show, Donnie Glover Show, Shared Space, Frontline News, The Troy Rawlings Show, and The Beverly Smith Show. And stay tuned as programming is updated regularly. We also want to ask you to continue to show social media support and share these hashtags. So there's hashtag Stop School Bullying Crane County TX 2022, and that TX represents Texas. Also, hashtag Driving While Black Michael Thrash Taylor County TX, and that's also representing Texas. And it's about time for us to, I think, check in and see if there have been any updates with the case. Hopefully it's been resolved. And so stay tuned for our fall lineup to see if we can have Michael and Thrash and his attorney back on the show with an update. But again, audience, thank you for joining us today. We return next week, September 15th. Where is this month going? Wow. Our guests include the East Oakland Stadium Alliance, EOSA. We'll also have Trent Willis join us again, friend of the show and past immediate president of the ILWU Local 10. And also we'll have Barack D. Obama Shaw return to give us an update on his campaign and learn more about his efforts to transform Alameda. We look forward to seeing you every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific on BlackUSA.News Network on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you, audience, for tuning in. And remember, together we can listen, learn, and share because I know you care. This is Dr. Ashley and Doug Blackshear of the Black Business Roundtable. God bless, good night, and find something to savor in this great September.
Good night.